Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to an extra special episode of Facilities in Focus. My name is Mackenna Moralez, and I am the managing editor of FacilitiesNet and the host of this very podcast. Today, Kendalynn and her mom, Karissa, are joining me in studio. Well, via Teams, but they are still joining me today. And you may recognize Kendalynn because starting in May, she was on General Mills cereal box nationwide and in Costco. Kendalynn is an upbeat, charming, happy-go-lucky 11-year-old. She excels in school, enjoys spending time with her friends, doing robotics and crafts, and loves to dance, especially ballet. Kendalynn has been a patient at Intermountain Primary Children's Hospital since she was born. She was born 6 weeks early and wasn't eating well. By age 2, she was diagnosed with a rare gastrointestinal disorder that can cause severe complications. She has complete intestinal failure and is unable to eat, so she receives nutrition through a central line that helps her grow and live an active life. Kendalynn remains positive and continues to embrace life. At Intermountain Primary Children's Hospital, she has a crew of adoring nurses, some of whom have cared for her since infancy. She enjoys working with the child life specialist and art therapist, visiting the facility's Forever Young Zone playroom and Sophie's Play Music Therapy, places she has said that make her stay better. Kendalynn is often seen with her medical alert dog, Reggie, who rocks a pink vest, painted toenails, and hair bows. While Kendalynn has so much ahead of her, she is already thinking about what she wants to be when she grows up. And maybe someday she'll help dogs like Reggie or other kids at Primary Children's Hospital. But she's also interested in becoming a vet, a doctor, or a child life specialist. But thank you so much for joining me today, Kendalynn and Karissa. How are you guys?
Good.
We're doing so great. Thanks for having us.
Oh my gosh, thank you for joining me.
A quick break to thank our 3 Season 5 sponsors, ABM, Orkin, and PointCore. Here's a quick message from all 3 sponsors. Pests hate us. Businesses love us. Orkin helps keep your facility ahead of pest pressures with practical, proven protection tailored to your needs. Healthcare facilities are demanding environments. Thankfully, ABM provides peace of mind with IAQ, efficient HVAC, and tech-enabled predictive maintenance. Learn more at abm.com/care. This episode is brought to you by PointCore, delivering facilities and construction solutions for healthcare that help organizations strengthen performance and support exceptional care environments. And now, we'll get back to the Facilities in Focus podcast.
Thank you for joining me. Kendalynn, I know that we were talking a little bit more and that you just got home from school. So I have a 12-year-old niece, so I know that this is a vulnerable time for you. But I am just very curious to know, from your point of view, Kendalynn, how would you describe a hospital to someone who has never been before?
Well, a lot of people think a hospital is somewhere where you just get pain and pokes and it's really scary, but that's not true. Like, yes, you do get IVs and sometimes you get pokes depending on what you're feeling like, but actually a lot of it is fun. You have crafts. You have people who come in, they'll dance with you, they'll sing with you, you can play instruments. It's so much fun.
Yeah, what is something that you like doing at the hospital?
Well, my favorite thing is art therapy, dance therapy, and music therapy.
Okay, cool. And they just come in and dance with you and sing with you?
Yeah.
Very fun. And then, Karissa, I'm sure that's a different experience for you as a mom. What was your first impression?
So I remember the very first time walking into primaries, and I was just completely overwhelmed. You're going into this place desperate for answers, and it's so intimidating at first because you have all of these people running in, poking your baby, holding your baby down, doing everything they can to try to figure out what's going on. And what became so scary at first became almost like a safety net for our family. and those unknowns and those beeping machines and all of the scary things we were experiencing quickly became a sense of normalcy for our life. And it became a place where it's like a second home. Our nurses and our doctors and all of these people truly care about Kendalynn and have really gotten to know her, not only as a patient, but as a little person who has dreams and wishes and wants. And they really just go above and beyond to make it a safe haven for our family.
Oh, that's really nice to hear because Kendalynn was a NICU patient, right? How long was she in there for?
So she was a NICU patient at Davis Hospital for about 15 days. So it wasn't very long, but it quickly went from us being at Davis Hospital. We had her home for maybe a week before we ended up in the infant unit at Primaries.
So my son's a 34-weeker too. And when I read your story, I was like, oh, I get it. I get it.
It's so hard. You have this baby and you want to just love on them constantly and you can't.
And like when you do, you have to navigate the wires. And I remember, we can cut this if this is too hard of a question for you, but was there any day in the hospital that you felt extremely challenged?
Oh yeah. Probably when she was a little bit older, she was probably around 6 or 7. Her intestines stopped completely for months. And nothing we were doing was working. They kept sending us home because there was no medication that they could figure out to help move her intestines. And I remember feeling so hopeless and so worried and so scared for her future. Sorry.
Oh, you're totally fine.
Her doctor was on a trip. Or no, he wasn't on a trip. He had COVID for a week, and so he wasn't in the hospital. And I remember just being so worried for her health. And during that time where he was gone, he kept researching, constantly trying to figure out what we could do to make my baby better. Here he's sick with COVID, and he's trying to figure out how to help my little girl.
Wow.
And I remember him coming back from his time off and him coming into our room and he's like, hey, I have one last option. It's a medication called neostigmine and we've never used it on a patient. What are your thoughts? He's like, it can slow the heart rate down. It can be scary, but I really think it's our best option. And so his entire team ended up coming into the room and we had the pharmacy team come in and all of the ICU nurses came in because it's a medication that's typically used in the ICU. And he ended up calling a team from Ohio because they weren't sure even how to administer this medication and how to look for the side effects and everything else. And so for about 30 minutes, this little tiny hospital room was completely overfilled with a bunch of people worried about my baby. Right. And I remember them administering it and everyone just staring at the screen, just waiting for the worst case. And her heart rate quickly went from 115 to 110 to 90 and then 80, and it just kept dropping. And everyone just holding their breath, wondering if we're going to have to give her atropine to get her heart back. And thankfully, we went the full 30 minutes and her heart rate recovered. And slowly but surely, she started to have that ostomy output that we hadn't seen in months. And so something that was so beyond hard became one of our biggest miracles.
No, I'm really happy. And now I feel like I'm going to cry. I had a feeling this was going to happen during our conversation. I think people forget how vulnerable patients and their families are in hospitals, especially in a situation like a pediatric hospital, because as a mom, your entire point of view shifts. Like, yes, you still care about yourself, but your child is your number one. And all you want for them is to get better. And when that is out of your hands and you just have to trust other people.
Yes, which is the most scary feeling, putting your baby's entire life into the hands of a complete stranger.
Mm-hmm. And like my situation, my hard day at the NICU is so minor compared to this. My son had like a zipper sleeper, and I remember I couldn't get it on over the wires, and the wires kept on getting tangled, and I was so frustrated because it was a situation like that where like any other mom could do this. Any other mom wouldn't have to navigate wires, but I have to, and I can't get his pajamas on without asking for help.
Yeah.
And that was like the hardest day. That was a day that was like, I don't think I can be here right now. Because you just feel like a failure sometimes.
Yes, and you totally do. And it's when they come early, it's like that was your job to protect your baby. And all of a sudden your body is telling them they need to get out, and it's hard to not feel guilty.
Yes. And like, it's no one's fault. It's not your fault. It wasn't my fault either. For any parents of premature infants, it's not your fault either. You have to put so much trust in these strangers, and there's a whole team, and it's not doctors and nurses. Yes, they get a lot of the credit, but there are so many people behind the scenes that are working in hospitals that you don't even know that are striving to protect your baby. And it's the EVS people, it's the food, it's the cafeteria workers, it's the facility managers who are making sure that your facilities are up and working and that it has clean indoor air. These are all people who are taking care of you.
I don't think most people even realize the magnitude that it takes to run a hospital until you are there day in and day out, and you see the people coming in even just to empty out the sharps containers. Like every single thing is a job.
Exactly. And everybody there is caring for you.
Yes.
Because it's an unforgiving job. They know what can happen if a mistake is made. So they are doing everything by the book and correctly. Kendalynn, you're so young, but you're so strong. How do you remain brave? Because I think you're braver than me.
Well, one of the things that when I realize I'm going there, I always do get upset. But if I do become impatient, the first thing I ask for after the night that I'm in, the first night I'm there, I'm like, can I have some crafts, please? And then I ask for the art therapists, which come in and do crafts with you. And then and all of those like therapies that you can do just like make my days better.
What kind of crafts are your favorite to do when you're in the hospital?
You wouldn't hear this type of craft a lot, but
Okay.
one of my favorite types, I really like the sensory type of art, like where you can touch it and like put it on your hands everywhere. I like shaving cream art. So what you do is you get
Oh.
shaving cream and food coloring, you like swirl it and then you put the paper down and you pull it up and then it dries, turning into this really beautiful like pattern.
Oh. After our interview, you'll have to send me a picture of some of your art because I think that'll be really cool to see.
I could show you my state report.
But I have another question for you, Kendalynn. Were there, besides the art therapist, were there other specific spaces in the hospital that made you feel more comfortable and less scared?
One of my favorite places to go when I'm not on precaution when I have like COVID, is when I like going into the library and picking out a book and being very specific on finding which book I want.
Okay, what's like the best hospital book?
I like graphic novels in the hospital because a lot of the times I don't really want to read chapter books
Yeah.
because I'm sick. So I like Guts, which is like a really fun, what's it called? Graphic novel.
Yeah. Have you read the Babysitters Club graphic novels yet?
I have, but I just don't really like them as much.
Oh, Mom, does
Weird.
that kind of break your heart a little bit?
A little bit. We've tried multiple times.
Except Guts and Smile and Sisters are my favorite, and Ghosts and what's the other one? And Drama.
So there's a whole library in the hospital?
Yeah, and like they help you sometimes catch up on your homework if you need
Yeah.
that. But that's like my little quiet place without
Oh, I
everywhere.
bet. Oh, I bet.
It's like
That
quiet in there, and you can talk and read your book in there.
mm. What's the furniture like?
It's sort of like the ones in the rooms. There's like a few normal chairs, and then there's like I don't think they have bean bags, but they have like spinny chairs.
Oh, are they? Do you ever spin on them?
Heck yeah.
Are you told not to spin on them and you still do it?
No. But well actually
Absolutely.
you tell me not to, but no one else tells me not to. Other than
That's
my
the
dad.
thing about the hospital that Kendalynn has learned, that some of the things that mom says no about,
I can do.
she can still do with some of the therapists.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta bend the rules sometimes
To have fun.
to have fun. But Kendall, can you tell me a little bit about the music room too?
The music room is pretty much where there's like drums, there's like electric drums, there's those bowls that if you like wave around, it makes that really cool sound.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
There's a ton of those. There's guitars. What are the things that go like this?
The accordion.
Yeah, the accordion. They have a few of these like little things where it's like a disco. You can like turn on different soundtracks and do disco.
Oh, like a DJ table kind of? Like, do you go
Yeah,
like this on it?
yeah. I'm just and then there's pianos and like there's tons of fun stuff there.
How does something like the music room help you when you are inpatient?
It makes me feel happy, and I do like to sing, so I like listening to that and trying to make a song out of it.
Okay.
And uh, what is it? I also like it that no one cares that I'm not doing it right because I'm bad at instruments other than the harmonica and the kazoo. Those are
Well,
like the easiest instruments in the world.
that's crazy because I think the harmonica is like one of the hardest instruments. So if you're good at it, then you must be like really good at it.
I have a harmonica in my room and I'm just like da 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 da. I like to
Mom,
think
you
of
might
it
have a
as like
future blues artist on your hands.
I know,
I
right?
like to think of it as a mini like a piano that you blow
Oh,
because it has like
okay.
high notes and low notes.
Yeah. Karissa, what do these amenities mean to you as a parent?
They mean absolutely everything. When you are stuck in these little rooms and you can't leave for weeks or months at a time, being able to have them come directly in your room, almost as a parent, feels like it takes some of the pressure off of you. There's been a lot of times where I am constantly trying to do everything I can to uplift her spirit, and nothing that I am doing is working because she's feeling so terrible and her tummy hurts so much and she's been up all night throwing up. And it's crazy how one person can walk in the room with instruments from Sophie's place and sit on the edge of her bed, and she goes from a curled up ball that's been screaming for hours to my little Kendalynn is coming back.
And it lets them be a kid.
It does. It's so magical for these kids to experience these things. And there's something so powerful with music where it can just alleviate that stress and that anxiety that she builds up when she's in the hospital. She has Sophie's Place and the Forever Young Zone and these incredible amenities for her to be a kid. But then they also have the Ronald McDonald where I can go in and I can get a warm meal after not getting food all night and the day before because we've been in the ER for
And eat
15
bad
hours.
and eating bad stuff, not even knowing it.
Yeah. And being able to go away from her room for maybe 30 minutes just to get a shower. And, there's so many things that the hospital has thought about and these different charities have thought about to allow not only the support for kids, but also for the parents.
Mhm. I just really quickly for the people who don't know what the Ronald McDonald House is, it is a charity organization that helps parents for children that are inpatient in the hospital. They provide lodging, meals, like you said, anything that you could possibly need when you were in the hospital, they are able to provide to you, just so that you don't, especially if you live far away from the facility, there is a place where you can stay close to your child. It is an incredible organization. I'm glad you have it.
Yeah, me too.
Mhm. What are some other ways you distract yourself while in the hospital, Kendalynn? Are there other places in the facility that you like going to?
There's one place that we pretty much just set up in my bed. We
Yeah.
elevate the table and we make a fort on my bed.
Okay.
And I call it my quiet place.
How
Because I can
do you?
just zone out and turn the lights on that I wrap around, turn on
Yeah.
the fan as air conditioning so I'm not dying.
It seems like you have a lot of tips on how to use the furniture to people's advantage.
Yes.
The
Give
IV
me some
pole is one of
tips.
Oh
them.
yes, yes, the IV pole is the best.
Yes.
What's your IV pole used for?
My dancing partner.
That's really sweet. And Kendallin, I know that you've been to the hospital a lot. Have you noticed how the rooms are designed to help you with your mood while you're there?
I do like that, like, there's 4 different colors. There's, like, I think there's orange, there's green, there's definitely purple and definitely blue. I'm mainly in purple and blue. I like how empty the walls are. Like, there's a
Okay.
lot of, like, curves in the walls, and I like how empty they are. So I'm like, okay, art there, over here. Nope, on the ceiling now.
Yeah. Oh, you hang up your own stuff while you're in the hospital?
Yeah. And at the end, we give it all away.
Who do you give it to?
The nurses.
Oh, that's very nice.
What I need to do next time is I need to put my table out and then get a seat right in my door. Free art! Come get your own free art.
You should do a little art show
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
and let people. We have some representatives sitting on the call right now, so let that be an idea for you. That's a free one.
Yeah.
I didn't know that the walls were blank. I've seen lots of children's hospitals do like Disney characters on the walls. Would you like that, or would you prefer to just have the blank slate?
I like the blank so I can like cover, but like most of it, there's just like a wave of purple. Like the rest is like a light purple or like white. And I like it blank so I can like cover my art in it. But sometimes I do wish there was like, I wish what they would do is they would hide stickers in your room each day or like something like that. And you could scavenge for them.
Oh, that would be fun. Give me something to do if you're just sitting there.
Yeah.
Mm. What about you, Mom? How does the rooms make you feel?
I feel like we really luck out with our rooms. There are a lot of storage space for all of our things to tuck them away. And for Kendalynn, she very much wants to bring the whole house to the hospital to make it as homey as she possibly can. And so, with the way they lay out the rooms, it really allows for that, for her to create a space that is for her. And there's always a lot of natural light, which is so important with health and with recovery and with our moods and all of those things that are so important for getting her home.
Mm. I'm glad that you brought up lighting because that is something that we actually write about a lot. You said how it helps with her healing. Can you just detail that or explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah. I feel like when you are in the sunshine, it just makes you happy. It helps you feel better with your mood. And when your mood is healthier, you tend to heal better. And that isn't just with the light, that also plays into our child life therapists and our art therapists and these people that come into those rooms. They allow her a sense of normalcy, which helps you heal.
Exactly. Were there any small design details or services that make a big difference in reducing your stress and anxiety?
That's a good one.
You like it when I get squishies.
um, probably the IV team. Kendalynn does not like when the IV team comes in, but their team is absolutely remarkable. They have taken a lot of pressure off of me as a mom, having a child with a central line who's been poked a lot. They have the most magnificent machines that allow them to look at her veins through an ultrasound and be able to take away from several pokes and being
Yeah.
able to just really be experts at what they do.
Except for that one time where I got that lung burst. Because my veins weren't working.
No.
Okay, I had to get poked the other day and I have a big bruise on my arm too, so you're not alone.
One of the best things they do is they have a vibrating thing. I call it a buzzy, and it vibrates and it numbs your arm so it doesn't hurt as
Oh.
much.
Wow.
I use it every time. And we got one at home for when I have to do home shots or ones at doctor's appointments.
That is very cool. I'm glad you have that.
Yeah.
But Karissa, is there any place in the hospital, like, is there any different room that you go to like get some peace?
I would say the Ronald McDonald in
Yeah.
the shower. I usually save my tears for my shower. I give myself 30 minutes every day where I take the time to just unwind everything that I've built up throughout the day. Because when you're a mom and you're in the hospital, you have to be strong. You have to put on that brave face because your baby's fighting. And if they're willing and able to fight the way they are, then personally, me as a mom, I have to fight too. And I have to be brave for her. And so those showers are probably some of the most therapeutic showers.
I understand that this is a weird question to ask you, but how is the water pressure?
In the Ronald McDonald, they're great. In the regular hospital rooms, they're terrible.
Aw.
So that's why I always go to the Ronald McDonald because it's just a different kind of shower.
Yeah. Is the Ronald McDonald a separate facility?
No, so it is on the third floor inside our hospital. So it's a family room, and you go in and you check in, and they have a shower to the left, and they have a kitchen where you can cook food as you wish. They have couches that are comfortable and a TV, and they just make it so it's this little home away from home.
I think you forget how much you appreciate the shower until you're in a place like a hospital, and it's not always the best. It's not always the nicest. You have to have shower shoes on, and just something as simple as like a warm shower with nice pressure. It really does ease the tension a little bit.
Absolutely. It's so therapeutic, and it's my refresh from a hard day.
Mm-hmm. And so for the facility managers listening to this, maybe we can address the water pressure for people.
That would be really helpful.
But were there any features you didn't expect to matter but ended up being incredibly helpful?
I feel like we've kind of addressed it with having the amenities outside of the room. That was like one of my big ones, is having a quiet place. They do have a quiet room that's like a prayer room, and I feel like that's a really helpful place that's meaningful for families struggling. There's something so healing about going into this quiet space where you know no one's going to interrupt you and you can close the door and lock it and just have it to yourself.
Mm-hmm. No, I really get that because people think that hospitals are quiet because people like, granted, I don't know how old you are, but I have older parents, and they told me that it was, and they could be lying, but they told me that it was illegal to like play your music loudly outside a hospital. Because now that I'm saying it out loud, it definitely sounds like a lie. They told me, but they said that you couldn't play your music loudly outside a hospital in the car because it would disturb the patients. So, and I have always believed them about it. And it wasn't until my son was in the NICU that I really understood how loud a hospital is with the beeping and the nurses' calls and then just people moving stuff constantly. And at least in my NICU, we had a sound monitor of like an ear that changed colors if we were being too loud or if we were being the right level for him. And
Whoa, that's crazy.
yeah, and so like if we were playing music, and I remember it was a Louis Armstrong song, and the um trumpet solo got a little bit too loud, so it shot to red, like it was too loud. And it's so intimidating sometimes. The noise levels are so overwhelming. And like we talked a lot in this conversation, you are so stressed. You just want to like clear your mind a little bit. And like meditation rooms, peace rooms, whatever they're called, quiet rooms, they are essential because that beeping, I don't know about you, Karissa, but I feel like it followed me forever. Holden's 2 now, and it's still, I can still hear the beeping of his monitors sometimes.
See, we're at the place where it's 11 years in, and Kendalynn and I will be on her bed playing with crafts or whatever we might be doing. And a nurse will come in and be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, it's beeping." And we both kind of look at each other. We didn't even notice it was beeping because it's just become so normal, which is so weird to look back and think that the chaos of a hospital feels like normalcy for Kendalynn.
Mm-hmm.
We sort of zone out.
We do zone out.
But that's okay, too. It's better than being annoyed by it,
Yes.
right?
Yes, for sure. My husband, for the first time, stayed with Kendalynn overnight just a couple months ago. So for 11 years, I've been doing all of the hospital stays, and he was able to stay with her. And leading up to these hospital stays, he would always say, "Well, what? Like, it can't be that busy. You should be able to nap whenever you want. Like, you shouldn't be that tired."
You can turn the lights off.
Yeah, you can turn the lights off. No one's gonna bug you. And after that hospital stay, I don't think he'll ever think about that again because he realizes now just how you don't get a wink of sleep. It's a constant in and out of your room. Every chance you think you're gonna get quiet, there's another beeping machine or another person coming into your room.
Mm-hmm. And then, Kendalynn, how did the hospital, so the actual building, help turn a challenging time into something more manageable or even positive?
Well, like I said, when I got that medicine, it made like it's really uncomfortable because it squeezes your muscles. It's
Mm-hmm.
really painful. It makes you feel worse than you actually felt originally for like a while. But then like normally I'll ask for like art therapy after I get the medicine because I feel like it's sort of like a reward and I get to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that helps cheer me up and make me feel more happy.
Yeah. What about you, Karissa? Is there any way that the hospital helped you?
Yeah. I could go on and on about how they've helped us. We are very lucky to have had the same team for nearly her whole life. And so they've been able to learn about Kendalynn and learn our routines, and learn about what works for Kendalynn. And when they're so focused on helping my child, it helps me in return.
Exactly. I get it. And if there is a facility manager listening right now, what would you want them to understand about your experience?
I would want them to understand that when a family walks through the doors of primary children's, they're often walking in on one of our very hardest days. They're carrying us as families, we're carrying fear and exhaustion and so much uncertainty and an unrecognizable amount of love for our child, and we're willing to do whatever we can to fight for them. And when you are in that space of a hospital, every single detail matters. The way the room feels, the way people walk in and say hello, the availability of the staff, and just having people there who recognize and love your child for who they are is one of the most impactful things. When you have these people walk in who immediately help your child laugh after weeks of no laughing, a volunteer who takes an extra moment just to talk with your kiddo and be able to sit in that room and bring a sense of normalcy. It's just so incredible to see as a parent. There have been moments where I felt completely overwhelmed with our journey and our experience and what we're going through, but having these people show up and see her as she is and as we are together as our little team helps the days pass and helps her in her healing journey.
I think that's really nice to hear. And I think they'll really appreciate that. We are running a little bit short on time. I just have one last question for you both. When you tell people about your experience, what do you always mention about the hospital itself?
I personally always mention the people. The programs are incredible. The spaces are so thoughtfully designed and created. But what has stayed with me and has changed me as a mom is the people who have walked in this journey with us side by side. Kendalyn's team at primaries, they're not just her medical team, they've become an extension of our family. They've celebrated her wins, they've celebrated our losses, they've celebrated any little thing that she is going through that is improving her quality of life.
Our holidays.
All of the things. And as a mom, there's moments where I look at them and realize they don't just help care for her, but they've almost helped me raise my little girl to be the brave and confident and loving person that she is. They've poured into her in ways that have shaped her, and they've helped encourage and comfort her on her hardest days. And there's been moments where they're not just helping her, but they've also helped me and helped me be brave in our journey, because as a mom, or as a child, you think, oh, my mom is so brave, they know everything, but obviously we don't, and we're constantly learning too. And so for me, they've walked with me hand in hand in motherhood in some of my hardest moments, and we're just so beyond grateful for our experience and the people who have loved our family right where we're at.
Yeah. I'm really happy you have them. I'm
Me
really
too.
glad you have a good team and a good facility and good facility managers who
Yeah.
help keep you guys safe. Kendalynn, is there anything you want to tell people?
They make me feel safe, they make me laugh, and they make me smile even though I'm obviously grumpy and not feeling good.
Yeah, I bet. But thank you both so much for joining me. Kendalynn, I'm so glad I was able to meet you. And obviously, Chris, I'm glad I was able to meet you too.
Thank you. Likewise.
But it was great being able to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Facilities in Focus podcast. Facilities in Focus is a product of the Facility Market, which houses FacilitiesNet, building operating management, facility maintenance decisions, and healthcare facilities today. Thank you to our sound and video editors, Paul Ellertson and Johnson Delapet. Thank you to Morgan Johnson for designing our logo. Thank you to Dan Welton, Dave Lubaugh, Dan Hounsell, Jeff Forden, Elena Myers, Corey Lallo, and everyone else at Trade Press Media Group. And of course, thank you, Dalton, Holden, and Baby Girl. It's always a pleasure to be a part of your journey on the internet. For comments, or if you are interested in being a guest on Facilities in Focus, please email me, Mackenna, at fnpodcast@tradepress.com.